I just want to introduce you to the Ringsend and Irishtown Sustainable Energy Community, or RISEC. And myself and Megan Custer set it up in 2017, I think, or 2018. I didn't really take a note of the date, but we've been going sort of that long. And we wanted to set this up because the SEAI wants the whole country to be covered with sustainable energy communities. That would mean that instead of one person saying, I want to apply for solar panels on my roof, and another person down another street wants to apply for LED lighting to be installed or whatever, that everybody can go to their local SEC, and then the SEC can make a clustered approach. So that's what the SEAI gets from this. They don't want single individual households applying. They want SECs talking people through their options and explaining to them what's available and so on. So so that's that. I'll just run through that there, yeah. And then one of the big things that we did as an SEC back in 2019 was Fergal, who is also on the call this evening, and he'll be available for questions. Fergal runs a company called Energy Solutions, Arden Energy, in Sheriff Street. Fergal's local to the area here as well, Ringsend, Irishtown. And he produced an energy master plan for the Ringsend, Irishtown area. And it's a very substantial piece of work, and it's all this granular detail about BER levels in the housing, car ownership, solar panel representation, all types of stuff. That's you can download that from the website risec.ie, and that's really the basis of a lot of the stuff right now that we're moving forward with. So then, as well as producing the energy master plan, we've been doing projects in the area. If you were a seagull and you were flying over Ringsend and Irishtown, and I presume Pier Street as well, you'll be hard pushed to find solar panels on people's roofs. Really, the representation there is pretty bad. But you will find one over our premises. That's the Fair Play Cafe in Ringsend. I operate the Fair Play Cafe, and we use this as sort of a sustainable energy hub in the community. We've had our solar panels installed. We've had LED lighting fitted. We have had also smart heating controls to demonstrate a very simple point, that if we can motivate tens of thousands initially, and obviously hundreds of thousands following on from that, if we can motivate tens of thousands of people to take small and significant steps that are easy within their reach, they can see a payback within 3 to 5 years on their investment, while all the time helping to reduce carbon emissions, turning the tide on climate change, etc. So this shows you a little panel. I hope you can see that okay. This panel is on the wall in our cafe. We imported it from Germany, and it's a pulse meter, and it shows how much power is being generated by your solar panels at a given point, how much power has been generated by those solar panels since they were installed, and then critically, it gives you the CO2 offset. Right, so right now in our cafe, we're at about 2.5 tons of a CO2 offset with a small, modest solar panel installation. So if you can get tens of thousands of people having a 2.5 ton CO2 offset in 2 years, do you see the point I'm making here? Mm-hmm. This is very, very significant. And it's immediately paybackable, if that's the right way to put it. Yeah, you get your money back, in other words, within 3 to 5 years. And so after that period, it's actually making you money. Do you know what I mean? It's a no-brainer. So that's where the panel is above the menu board, deliberately put right beside where the customers would pay, so as that it'll be sort of in your face talking point. And it's a great, I dream of every school in the country having one of these, and all the kids running in to see how much more carbon have we offset, have we saved in our little school, producing our own bit of electricity. So and that's the red circle, just in case you miss it there. You put that on. As well as the Fair Play Cafe, Fergal has been deeply involved in helping the local Clanagale club, Clanagale Fontenoy, the GAA club, and they've installed LED lights like us, but they have hugely more capacity for LED lighting, and they installed a heck of a lot more solar panels than we did 2 years ago, wasn't it, Fergal? I think, yeah. And they have been able to reduce their electricity bill by 70% with these measures. We've been able to reduce our electricity bill by a significant amount as well. And so these are easily accessible options that work and that are operating in the community. And part of our job is to demystify this whole process. Some people are terrified of deep retrofits and blowing a hole in your bank balance. And we want to calm them down and say, doesn't cost a phenomenal amount of money. There are grants available, and it will pay for itself within 3 to 5 years. So we've also got involved with the last September Dublin Climate Action Week. On the right-hand side there, you can see a gaggle there at Clanagale beside the Sean Moore Road. And then there was a walking tour around different houses. We did different audits in the community where people would volunteer to allow their house to be audited in terms of what type of potential there is for installing solar panels, insulation, heat pump, all this type of stuff. And so the tour went from Clanagale around some of these houses and then ended up in the Fair Play Cafe, which is the picture on the right-hand side. And yes, that is an upside-down table and chair on the ceiling, but we can explain that later on if you want to. We provided people with tea and coffee and biscuits and cake and all this type of stuff, and explained the benefit that we had, the real tangible benefit from doing something that's easily accessible, won't blow a hole in your bank balance, shows you an immediate return, will pay for itself within 3 to 5 years. And so what we're trying to explain with the cafe especially is that you have a suite of options that you can access starting on a phased basis. Like in phase 1, you can have your LED lighting. It's grant dated as well. Your smart heating controls, that's grant dated as well. And your solar panels grant dated as well. And phase 1, immediately you're hitting the ground running and you're turning the tide on climate change. As I said, with our few solar panels, 2.5 ton carbon offset already, which is very significant. So this is the map here. And this is a map that we did for district heating. Dublin City Council built a waste to energy plant, which is known as the incinerator in Ringsend. It will achieve its goal as being a waste to energy plant when it starts actually producing energy for the benefit of the community. We did a tour of the incinerator plant, and we were told that all of the hot water is being dumped into Dublin Bay because Dublin City Council haven't got their act together. So as part of our proposal now, we're going to be making a case for that district heating to start ASAP and providing heating for local communities in the Ringsend and Irishtown area as a priority. And so we have certain strategies for trying to achieve that over the next year to get Ringsend and Irishtown district heating ready. You'll see a little note there on the right-hand side that we're collaborating with Kadima, Carrow, Dublin City Council on the recently announced plan to decarbonise Ringsend and Irishtown, to have Ringsend and Irishtown as a specific designated decarbonisation zone, the first, the only one in Dublin. So we look forward to collaborating with the powers that be so that this can happen in a way that will make the community groups and individuals as equal stakeholders with business and industry, as well as with politicians and council and so on. So that is basically the slides there. Thank you for the opportunity, Mary, to make this little presentation.